So this video is going to go over how to find intersection points between two equations. Now this is really useful with every other type of equation. Right now we're kind of just focusing on a rational function. So how to begin is I'm going to turn on my calculator here and I'm going to press my y equals sign. Now that brings me up to a screen where there is a bunch of different y values. So these are all the different types of equations that we can put in. If we have up to 4 different equations, we can plug in those 4 different equations and graph them on the same plane. Now in this case, we have 2 different equations. This side of the equation symbol and this side of the equation symbol. What we're really trying to do is figure out what x values make these two things equal. In that case, we're trying to figure out the intersection point of these two. So find intersection. And what we care about that intersection point is the x value, okay? Sometimes we worry about the y value, but realistically, all we really care about is what x value makes this true. So how to begin is I'm gonna plug in, and this is where knowing how to use your brackets is important. So syntax is really important when dealing with rational functions or any type of equation really when you're using your calculator. So I'm gonna put 16 divided by, and I'm going to put a bracket because this whole term x plus 6 is being divided. X plus 6. Now recognize if we didn't put brackets here, if we left it like this, your calculator might read it as 16 divided by x plus 6. So your calculator might see this, which is not what we're trying to graph. So you really got to utilize your brackets. So make sure we put brackets here. And now we are going to go to y2 and graph our other function, 4 minus x. Now, I don't know what my window looks like at the moment. I did see that I had other equations on here, so I may have an ugly window that we'll be able to fix. So I'm going to press graph and see what it pops up like. So it looks like I have 2 intersection points here. Now, I'm going to change my window. I don't really have to, but for the sake of a video, I'm going to show you how to do that. So my x minimum value is -10. So I'm going to bring that to maybe a -7 just so we can see it a little better. And my x maximum, I'll probably bring to a 5. And then my y max, both of my intersection points were above the y equals 0 line. So I'm going to bring this to -1 just so we can see our graphs a little better. So there's our first graph, 16 over x plus 6, and this line is a linear line, which is obviously our 4 minus x. So now, how do I find the intersection point of these two things? To do this, you are going to press second trace, aka you're going to get into the calculate portion of the calculator. And you're going to go down to intersect. You could also press the number 5 to get there, or you could scroll all the way down and press enter to intersect. Now you can see that there's a little cursor here and it's telling you first curve question mark. So we are going to go, you don't have to be super close to the intersection point, but I'm going to go a little close to this first intersection point up here. I'm going to press enter on my first curve and then it automatically jumps to our second curve. Now it's asking where our second curve, so it's roughly about there, which is fine. And then it says guess. So it wants you to guess where the intersection point is. At this point, I'm going to go a little bit closer to the intersection point, press enter, and we get the intersection point of x equaling -4 and y equaling 8. So one of our solutions is x equals -4. So now I'm going to go over to my other intersection point. So second trace, I'm going to press 5 this time for intersect. Now it's on my first curve. Recognize it's way over there. I don't really want that. I'm going to try and scroll a little closer to our intersection point of this one. I'm going to press enter. It's going to jump to our second curve. I'm going to get close to my intersection point, press enter. Now it wants us to guess where the intersection point is. It's roughly about there. Press enter, and I'm going to get x equaling 2. So now I have found a solution of x equals 2 and x equals -4.